Now, let's talk here about China. Now, our old mates in China have it both ways. They wish to declare themselves to be a developing nation, because if you're a developing nation, you don't get held to the Paris Accord. If you're a developing nation, you can do what you want when it comes to the World Trade Organization. But James, riddle me this. How does a developing nation not just have a space program, but be able to land something on Mars? Because this developing nation has been able to put a probe on Mars. How the heck are they still a developing nation? And when are the Western countries going to stand up and say, look, if you want to play like the rest, if you want to lead the world and literally explore other planets, you can join the rest of us in the first world?
Paul, as you know, I'm a fair critic of the Chinese Communist Party and I have the travel ban to prove it. But I have to say, of all the things the Chinese government has done, space exploration, including to Mars, is one that alarms me the least, as long as their intentions are peaceful, and that is a pretty big caveat.
But they're not developing.
But you do make a good point. You do make a good point, Paul. Is it really a developing country if it's so advanced, if it's so sophisticated, if it's so rich that it can afford to be spending things on activities like this? And should it really be exempt from all the obligations that come with being a developed country? Of course not. And of course we know the Chinese Communist Party picks and chooses when it fits into the definition of a developing country or a developed country. For the purposes of space exploration, very advanced economy. For the purposes of carbon emissions, oh, no, not yet.
No, we can't even be measured until 2030. In the meantime, we're landing things on Mars, Michael. This is sort of, we want to talk about the pushback against China, right? It's the ultimate too hard basket that Western countries, the Five Eyes nations, won't fight this two-tiered system that means China gets to rip off the rest of the world.
Correct. Well, mate, as you know, the World Trade Organization is a very progressive organisation. You know, in the modern world, we're allowed to identify our own sex as to, you know, what we are. You can do that as members of the WTO. So how do they get to be a developing nation? They declare themselves to be a developing nation. That's how they do it. So we could say, we're a developing nation if we wanted to. So there's a rule of thumb in the WTO that if your per capita GDP per head is under about $12,000 US, $13,000 US per head per annum, then you're a developing nation. And theirs is less than that, so they say we're developing, which is laughable because that should not be the only test. I mean, if you're able to invest billions and billions of dollars in over 100 countries around the world, there's not many developing nations that are rich enough to do that. The whole thing is a joke, and as has been said, it's the way they get around Paris. It's the way they delay the implementation of all sorts of international agreements, get trade advantages, and Donald Trump was absolutely right. This is a joke that China, the second biggest economy in the world, is still developing. Well, you know, pull the other one, Paul. It's rubbish.
Yeah, pull the other one and place jingle bells, as I like to say.